Hello, students. Today, I would like to take you through SPSS for managing and analyzing data. SPSS is one of the softwares that we use for analyzing nutritional data, for coming up with results that can help you solve some problems in the community. And it is very, very important, especially in the aspect of research. When you be conducting your research, you realize how important this application is. The word SPSS stands for Statistical Package for the Social Sciences. So it is a software that is being widely used by nutritionists, public health practitioners, and other social scientists to analyze their research findings. So SPSS basically consists of computer programs which enable the user to read data from questionnaire surveys and other sources. For example, administrative records and research data. And it also enables manipulation of data in various ways and helps produce a wide range of statistical analysis and reports. SPSS user support. There is a help menu on the SPSS that will help you to find out any problem and to solve any problem that you may have with the application. SPSS has descriptive menus and simple dialog boxes, which can be used to do most of the work. Most tasks can be accomplished simply by pointing and clicking the mouse, like you do with other various applications. So SPSS has a help menu which helps you in using the software and provides a convenient spreadsheet-like method for creating and editing data files. The data editor provides basically two views of your data. So basically when you open the page for SPSS, you'll find two views. We have the data view and the variable view. So the data view displays the actual data values or the defined value labels. It has columns that represent the variables or the fields and rows that represent the cases or the records. Each row contains data for one case. And then the variable view, still on the data editor, we have the data view and the variable view. So the variable view basically displays the variable definition information, including all the defined variables and the value labels. The data types, for example, string data, the date, or the numeric data. Then the measurement level, you can have nominal data, you can have ordinal data and tail data. And then the user defined missing values. In both the data and the variable view, it is possible to add, change, and also delete information that is contained in the data file. So the rows in the variable view are the variables and the columns are the variable attributes. You can be able to add or delete the variables, and you can also modify the attributes of the variables. For example, the variable name, the data type, the number of digits or characters, the descriptive variables, and the value label. So how can we be able to modify the variable properties? One, by defining in the variable view. So using the copy data properties wizard on the data menu. And you can also use the external SPSS data file or another data set. And then you can define the variable properties on the data menu, which can be able to scan the data and list all the unique data values for any selected variables, identify the unlabeled values, and also provide an auto-label feature through which you can be able to label your variables. Particularly, it's very useful for categorical variables that use numerical codes to represent categories. For example, if you want to code the gender as either male or female, you can decide to code the gender with male as 0 and female as 1. So anywhere there is a male, when you're entering the raw data, you say 1. Where there is a male, you say 0. Where there is a female, you write 1. And it makes the entering of the data very handy. So we have the data view. The data view also has similar features to those of spreadsheet application. The rows are the cases, and each row represents a case or an observation or a questionnaire. The columns are the variables. Everywhere in all that I've been talking about, you've noticed that all the variables are always on the column, and then the cases are on the rows. So each column represents a variable or a characteristic that is being measured. For example, each item in the questionnaire is a variable. If on your questionnaire you're having the age, you're having the gender, then you're having the age groups, you're having the height, you're having maybe weights, you're having the BMI, all those are different variables that you can code for. So the cells contain values. Only the data values cannot contain formulas. And you can also be able to enter data in any cell. There are no empty cells within the boundaries of the data file. For numerical variables, blank cells are converted to the system missing value. Any space that you leave blank is converted into a system missing value. And then for the string variables, a blank is considered a valid value. The variable names, let's look at some of the variable names. Each variable name is unique and duplication is not allowed. So in that case, you cannot duplicate age. You cannot write age twice. You can only have one column for the variable age, and then the variable attributes for age, different age groups. You can code them differently depending on how you want. You can say maybe if you're looking for infants and young children, you can decide to code the infants or the babies from 0 to less than 5 years, you can code them as A. Then from 6 months to 12 months, you code them as B. Then from 12 months maybe to 24 months or to 23 months, you code them as C. And then you go on that order until you get up to maybe children up to less than 5 years, depending on the age group that you're looking. So the first character must be a letter or one of the characters at hash or the $sign. Anything out of that is not going to be allowed and it will not allow you to enter it into the system. Subsequent characters can be of any combination of letters, numbers, non-punctuation characters, and a period. The variable names cannot contain spaces. If you want to write maybe age of children, you do not space it. You just write it as one word, age of children, without spacing between age and of, and also between of and children. So you just write it as one plain word as age of children without any spaces. If you add a space, it will automatically reject your entry. The period, the underscore, the characters, the $sign, the hash, and the at can be used within variable name. When you're entering the data, in the data view, you can enter the data directly and the active cell can be highlighted so that you can be able to enter the data easily. The variable name and the row number of the active cell are displayed in the top left corner of the data editor. When you select a cell and enter the data value, the value is displayed in the cell editor at the top of the data editor. Data values are not recorded until you press enter or select another cell. That is a rule that applies to most of the applications that we use. When you're entering a certain value, until you command it go to the next, shall not. So when you finish writing the variable as age, you enter, you click on the enter button, and then it takes you to the next column. To enter anything other than simple numeric data, you must define the variable type, as there is a region where you're able to define the variables and code them according to the way you want to code them. If you enter value in an empty column, the data editor will automatically create a new variable and assign a variable name. And then the value labels particularly are very useful if numeric codes are used to present non-numeric categories. For example, if you're coding 1 and 2 for male and female, and are also descriptive and assigned for each value of a variable, and are defined for variables in variable view. To display in the data view, select the value labels from the view menu. When you go to the menu, there is an icon that shows you view. So you click on the view, then you're able to select a value label from there. And once you're finished entering your data, printing is possible. A data file can be printed as it appears on the screen. The way you can print out a document from Word or Excel or PowerPoint is the same way you can do so here in SPSS. The information in the currently displayed view can be printed. In the data view, the data can be printed, and also in the variable view, the data definition information can also be printed. The grid lines and the value labels are printed if they are currently displayed in the selected view. So data preparation, how do you make your data ready for entry or for analysis in SPSS? In order to be able to create reports, charts, and analysis, you have to prepare your data coding. Additional data preparation features that may be useful include time variable properties that describe the data, determine how certain values should be treated. Then also you can be able to identify cases that may contain duplicate information and exclude those cases from analysis or delete them from the data file. As I said earlier, you can still be able to identify cases that may contain duplicate information and exclude them from your analysis, and also delete them from the data file. And you can also create new variables with a few distinct categories that represent ranges of values from variables with a large number of possible values. So let's look at computing variables. How can you be able to compute these variables? You go to the transform menu and then compute variable. When you click on transform menu, then it will show you the next part as compute variable. So you can be able to compute variables for a variable based on numeric transformations of other variables. And you can be able to compute values for numeric or string or numeric variable. You can create variables or replace the values of the existing variables. And then you can also be possible for you to compute values selectively for subsets of data based on the logical condition. There are more than 70 built-in functions available, and some of them include arithmetic, statistical distribution, and string functions. Data analysis. You can be able to perform many analyses using SPSS. Be able to do that, you go to the Analyze menu or Analysis menu on the data edit. And some of the analysis that you can carry out include descriptive analysis for means, frequencies. Then you can compare means, you can carry out t-tests and ANOVA, and then you can carry out regression analysis, then correlations, linear, logistic regression. So the descriptive analysis can first be used to clean the data for the missing values, outliers, before you go to the final analysis. So what do I imply here? When you carry out mean analysis and frequency analysis, you can be able to rule out the missing values, the outliers, and also any other flags that are not correct before you carry out the final complex analysis. In conclusion, SPSS is a very user-friendly program that is widely used to perform various statistical analysis. It is easy to analyze data that is entered or stored in other formats in SPSS, and you can use SPSS for further analysis of anthropometric indices, including z-scores, BMI, and many others. And you can generate these from other software, for example, and thank you very much. Have a blessed time.